Sarah Fraser and Misunderstood in the house again, live on Rumble. How are you, Sarah?
Rachel, I'm so good. How are you holding up, girl, though? I mean, nothing is worse than having COVID.
Well, yes, everybody. I've had a week of COVID ever since I went to Renegades, which is a two-stepping joint with none other than Harry Dubin.
I saw that. First of all, you're a great two-stepper. That looks so fun. Is that in
Well,
Florida? I was so
can I
jealous.
just tell you something? It's in the middle of Patriotville, okay? So it's like everybody there is sporting a Trump shirt, and then these little cutoff jeans and cowboy boots. And we were out to dinner and were bored with each other, I guess. And he said, we do really silly shit together. So he was like, let's go to Renegades in two-step. There's a class tonight. So we get there and we start taking classes with people. And it was so funny. We made all these crazy, weird, bizarre friends. I was in heels because I thought we were going to dinner on the island of Palm Beach, right? And anyways, we had a great time. I'm planning on going every week, every Wednesday, by the way, if you live in Palm Beach or West Palm. It's family night. And you can bring your kids. They teach you, and it's like a whole fun thing. How great is that?
Amazing. No, I would have done that in a heartbeat. It looked so much fun. I'm sure
Okay.
any night with Harry Dubin, the infamous Harry Dubin from Real Housewives of New York.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then the next morning, he came over, still smelling of alcohol, by the way. And I was obviously fuming with COVID, which I didn't know. And he came over and played. He was my fourth in my pickleball tournament in my backyard the next day. So we had a very nice weekend.
So
Well,
Harry can rally, huh? Harry can still hang. He can party all night, come and play a round of racquetball.
yeah, he totally can. He was
Pickleball,
really
sorry.
good. And we decided that this will be something ongoing that we do. He's heading to Turkey for the holiday and probably to meet up with some chicks. And I had to spend the week in bed. But anyways, here we are. I want to talk to you, Sarah. I want to get right into this. The biggest news of the week. By the way, everybody, we are weekly in front of you live on Rumble, and then we put it out on our feeds. But we want to do like a recap of the week that we found to be the most important things and bring them to you and kind of discuss them. We're not like journalists on CNN or Fox, but we have our own opinion. And so we just thought we would bring it to you. So my biggest story of the week, Sarah, that I want to talk to you about is the fact that Celine Dion is back, baby. Like this, I was in tears. By the way, as soon as I saw the news, I sat down on my couch and watched her documentary that came out, which I didn't know came out a month ago on Prime, called I Am Celine. And I was in tears. I mean, she is amazing. And not only that, we get to see her perform at the Olympics tomorrow night in Paris. So let me give you a moment to speak because I've just haven't stopped speaking about it.
No, keep speaking. I love hearing your opinions and thoughts. This is amazing. I actually, because she suffers from something called stiff people syndrome, which essentially is when almost your body freezes, right? Your muscles, it's like a nerve disorder, everything freezes up.
Yes.
So I actually was under the impression, I did not watch the documentary, but maybe you can tell me this from the documentary. I thought she was never going to perform again, that they didn't think she could ever sing again publicly.
Well, I think for the first time in the documentary, you really see how debilitating it is. She lost her ability to sing. She was, you know how she is. She's very dramatic, but she says in a very dramatic way how terrible her voice is. She is very stiff. She cannot move. And there are times when she tries to sing again and she goes into the studio to sing. She has a little bit of a difficult time, but after hours of doing it, she goes into a room and you watch her have a seizure. It's terrible. And she's frozen in position. And it's not a typical seizure that you see with people, kind of bouncing all over the place. She's frozen stiff. And it was very upsetting to watch, I have to tell you. And so I'm a little bit nervous about seeing her perform tomorrow. I'm very interested to see how she will perform. But not only that, the fact that she's having a residency, at Resorts World. So now I'm friendly with the owners of Resorts World. That's a whole nother story. I used to live in Vegas and I was with them recently and they had told me how she was going to sign a deal in 2021 when they opened and she had to back out. So the fact that she's coming back there now is huge news. I'm going to be I actually texted one of them last night and I said, I need tickets to Celine. I will go anywhere for Celine. I've seen her once at Caesars and I just spent the whole time, in tears singing with all my gay friends. Have you seen her?
So she was that good in No, I would love to. I mean, she is one of the greatest singers of all freaking time. I mean, amazing.
Of all
What a
time.
career. What And I absolutely love how quirky she is. Like, I love how bizarre she is. It's so
So bizarre. She's so dramatic and bizarre, and the things she does with her face, and she's so into the moment and the drama, and, but the thing that resonated with me is that
love her.
she loves the people. She loves connecting with the people, and since she
I agree.
lost the love of her life, Renee, like, she just her whole life has been about performing, and she just doesn't have the performance. Another thing, because I'm such a Celine Dion fan,
Yeah,
I
you
wanna
really
tell you
are. You're a stan here. Okay.
she is because she's one of 13 children. Did you know that?
Yes, I did. And she met Renee, you already know this, when she was like 12 years old. I mean, Renee like made her career.
Yeah.
He like signed her. They didn't start their like romantic relationship until what? I don't know. Was she 19, 20?
Wow. So they say. But yeah, okay, whatever.
Well, they're going to stand by that story. You can guarantee it.
Yes, I
You can
know, I
guarantee
know.
protect her legacy. They didn't hook up until she was 19, is what they go with.
Right.
But he crafted her career. And look, I mean, I think of Celine and Whitney Houston. There's really only 2 women that were ever in that category, and, Renee probably saved her life. He probably.
Maybe Mariah.
Oh, yeah, and Mimi is on that. Yes, Mariah is there for sure,
Yeah. But
for
the
sure.
voice is incredible. Okay, I know no one else cares about Celine as much as I do. So, we can move on, but that was the highlight of my week. What's the biggest news in your week, do you think?
Well, mine is political. I mean, I
Yeah.
think we are living through just insane, wild political
It's
time.
exciting now.
It is exciting.
Yeah.
I have no idea what is gonna happen in November. I would love for you to get your crystal ball out and tell us. So, we talked about last week on the show, there was a lot of rumors, including that Senator Chuck Schumer had gone to President Biden and said, "Ok, you have to back out. You have to
Yeah.
back out." He did this weekend. I mean, it was Sunday. It was the biggest news. It was breaking news. It was breaking in. President Biden has COVID, announced that he is stepping down. And then, like within hours, I guess this is what I'm so fascinated about with politics. Obviously, well orchestrated behind the scenes, but it seems as though the Democratic Party, huge donors, Hollywood, have rallied, and Kamala Harris is going to be the Democratic nominee for president.
She
I
is
was a
it.
little shocked. I was a little surprised.
Kamala. Okay.
Kamala is she's running.
So there was a little bit of gossip in the last 24 hours about why Obama hadn't come out and spoken. So I got on the phone after you sent me that article, and I spoke to a couple of my Republican friends. And, it definitely is not because he didn't want to back her. And as we're actually on live right now, it looks like he's going to come out and back her. But, he sees himself as really the head of the party. I think he wanted to wait and give her the moment to earn it herself so that people didn't start saying, which they did, that she didn't earn it, right? She needed to get her first ad out. She needed to come out on her own. She didn't need a man behind her saying, Kamala is the one I want to endorse. I think that these people, even Republican friends that I have, are saying, no. Like, everyone needs to take a minute. That's his, like, that's his MO. Like, he doesn't come out immediately. He's slow. He's a slow speaker. He's going to give her minute to do it on her own. So, I mean, I didn't think it was that big of a deal. I thought it was an odd choice for people to start saying that he didn't think she could win. Did you agree with that?
I think it was interesting that he did not come out immediately. I do.
But
I do.
why would he?
Because I know everything is planned.
Yeah.
They obviously, they all act shocked, the Democratic Party and people close to Biden. Oh, they're surprised. They're surprised. And do I think there was an element of the Biden family wanting to hold on? I mean, who gives up power voluntarily? Nobody. But, this has been well in the works, and especially since that disastrous debate. So this isn't
Mm.
like, when the DNC says, oh, this is shocking. No, it's not shocking. Everybody knew behind the scene. Uh, now AOC had a streamed live a couple of weeks ago where she says in private rooms, people have real doubts within the Democratic Party if Kamala can win. I find them waiting a little suspect because, I think they already knew, right? Huge donors. She raised the most money in a single day for independent donors. And I'm talking from people of color to women,
Yeah.
over $80 million in one day.
Mhm.
I probably believe in my heart behind the scenes that former President Obama has some real doubts of if she can win. It's going to be extremely, extremely close.
Well, are you saying that he was taking a breath because he wanted to see if there was other people to float? instead of her? I mean, I think
It's
if he
yes,
believed
I
she
think he
couldn't
wanted
win, if he believed she couldn't win, the best thing for him to have done is to get out there and say, "I support her," because that would help her. So I actually don't agree with that.
okay, yeah, I mean, I think they cannot afford to have any more, uh,
Controversy.
confusion in
Yes.
the Democratic Party. So I think President Obama was waiting to see what the public reaction was. It was
Mm.
extremely positive. I mean, I don't of course, now we've seen, like, racist comments about her is, you know,
Terrible.
all kinds of things, right? Which she knew was coming, but, I think
Wait,
he was
let's
waiting
talk
to
about
see.
that for a second. I'm sorry. It
Yeah,
wasn't necessarily just racist though. It was sexualized, and the fact that basically she gave a blowjob and had sex with people to get to the position she was at. And
that's
I
great.
mean,
That's
I
so
thought that that was so inappropriate, and for the Republicans or, the MAGAs or whoever it is that are saying these things, they wanna get women to vote for them, and they're gonna talk like that about a woman. I mean, what are they thinking? I just thought that was so backwards.
It's so backwards and it's stupid of the Republican Party because they can win this by constantly calling her out for the border, which has been an absolute mess.
Mhm.
Constantly saying, where does she stand with Israel? Very vague at this point. They don't even have to go there. But I mean, again, this is my
Yeah.
problem. This is why I identify as an independent. Both of these parties are completely lost. They are, we need a democratic revolution in this country. And find it hard to support either one because,
You know what?
yeah, the Republicans have got they don't even need to go there. And I mean, quite frankly, too, she has been in hiding. They have hid her very, very well. You do not see her speak much. Why is that? I think a woman can lead this country 100%, might be her. And we may see an incredible debater and an incredible person on that stage who is commander in chief. But I mean, she has been well hidden. Of course, you don't hear any of that now.
Mhm.
Um, she doesn't speak publicly. Why is that? Well, they brought her out a lot, you know, at the beginning, and then it was sort of she laughed too much. It was awkward, didn't make a lot of sense. So let's see how it goes. I mean, the Republicans could solely be leaning on that. But I do think we talked about JD Vance. He's certainly well accomplished. He is the American dream in many ways. But I mean, do they have a woman problem now? I mean, should President Trump, former President Trump, have picked a female as his running mate? Because are they in serious trouble?
Well, I think that's a good point. And also, let's talk about the fact that now Jennifer Aniston, who usually is very quiet, has come out really putting JD Vance on blast about the fact that he said that women that don't have children are like cat women or whatever. I don't
Yeah,
even know
they're
what
like
he said.
crazy single cat ladies. Yeah.
Yeah, like, what's wrong with this guy? I mean, this is what happens when you have a hillbilly as your VP pick. So, I think that they're going to have all sorts of problems. I definitely think that now, it's like the African American community, the women are all stoked for what is going on. I think this is getting very exciting. Let's talk about VP picks for a second. Do you have someone that you think is a good match for her?
I think she has to go with, they're talking about Gabby Gifford's husband, who's the senator in Arizona. I think her best pick would be the governor of Pennsylvania, whose name is
Josh Shapiro.
Josh Shapiro. Um, because I do think that they have an Israel problem with her at this point. We'll see. Josh Shapiro is Jewish. If they
Yep.
come out and they
Oh,
can win
wait.
that vote,
Wait, her husband's Jewish. What's the Israel issue?
she did not show up to see Bibi. She did, her husband came to a Jewish women's group and spoke, kind of saying that of course, Kamala supports Israel, will remain supportive.
Right.
Bibi did not thank her in his speech. He did former President Trump, he did Joe Biden. Maybe there's nothing there. It's being projected in the media that there could be something there, that she may break away from the Biden administration that has been very pro Israel and have a different stance with them.
Okay, but without her speaking, I think it's unfair for people to make an assumption of what that means. I mean,
Yeah,
I have
good.
a podcast like you do. I can't tell you the amount of comments I got about how are you not taking a stand? Why are you saying nothing? Saying nothing is saying something. And I was just like, "Oh my god." So imagine
Yeah, yeah.
did you get any of that?
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
No
like
matter what you say, you're gonna get, people that whatever decision you make, or even if you're in the middle,
Yeah.
you get people that unfollow or follow or whatever. Yeah. No, no,
Yeah.
no.
I
And
think that's tough.
yeah,
Wait, but I think you're right. I mean, Josh Shapiro, so Pennsylvania is a key state. It's crucial for any presidential election. He's a former attorney general. I'm looking at his stuff right now. And I think people really like him. The other one that people are talking about is Andy Bashir, the governor of Kentucky. I think that's interesting because he's a governor in a red state and he has shown the ability to, attract people from both sides. And it's interesting because as a red state, you do have a lot of people in there that are Republican, but
yeah,
aren't necessarily MAGA. So that could be, a very interesting thing. I don't think she needs a woman, even though I
no,
do like Gretchen Whitmer. I just don't think that she's the one. And then Gavin Newsom, people obviously are still floating him. Um,
they can't. They're both from the same state.
they're from the same state. Here's the issue. All right. And I'm going to bring up something later,
Yeah.
but what's the problem in San Francisco? Well, we'll talk about it in a minute.
Which
But
one? Which problem? Many, many.
all right, well, I'll get into it because
Okay.
I was going to bring this up later, but I've got to put my glasses on for this.
Look, well, the Democrats certainly have the upper hand as of now. I think the Republican Party is very worried. Very
Are you
worried.
voting for Trump?
No, I probably will not vote for President Trump. I definitely am more probably conservative, but I truly believe that a woman has the right to choose, and that was a terrible, terrible move. Um, but I probably will write somebody in. I'm not sure. I really am not sure.
So you're undecided.
I'm undecided. I'm undecided. Like, I think Kamala could win my vote. I think she's just got to appear presidential. Like, I want to see what she, without President Biden, stands for.
I love this. Okay, so this will be interesting. We should keep doing this till the election because I'm
Yeah,
also undecided.
really?
For a
Oh, yeah.
second after, so first of all, I would have said that I would have voted for a dead dog before I would vote for Trump. But after, but
But now you're like, Kamala's like pushing you.
no. But and then after the debate, I was like, oh, this is crazy. And I know Trump, and I'm friends with all the patriots. I'm friends with all the MAGAs, and I'm very level-headed about all of it. So I was like, you know what? I guess I got to vote for this guy because all my friends are very close with him,
Sure.
and they're good people. So they might say crazy things, but they are good people. So for a second, I was like, I could vote for Trump. And now that Kamala's in it, I think it's really interesting. And I am a pro-choice chick. Okay.
Okay, yeah.
And, I just think that there has to, she doesn't have my vote yet, but I think we're both undecided. And this will be interesting to see if somebody can get our vote.
I think us electing a female president is 100% possible. I think she could be it and
Do
be.
you think we're ready for that?
Yeah, no, I do. I do. I
Right.
think it's more people hate the far left. I do as well. I
I do too.
cannot stand, and I think that if I'm being totally honest, I think so many Americans are so smart. So many women are so smart. Some people are going to vote for her blindly. Some people are going to vote for Trump blindly. But the fear that people have in the middle, like you and I, is we do not believe in these extreme policies that we have seen in states like California. And the fear is she comes from that. And is she going to, and we see it on the parties on both sides, they now pander to the extreme voices. So the fear is like, is she going to pander to those extreme voices? That's truly my hangup with her. Do I think, because a presidency now is run not just by the president, but by so many people around her. And she's going to be supported by incredible leaders like President Obama, Joe Biden for whatever he can offer, which he's a great American and done a lot, can offer a lot. So it's not just going to be her, but I think it's like, is she going to pander to that crowd? And to me, I just think that is so not where Americans want to be. And personally, my own beliefs is not where I want to be. So that's my only fear with her. So I hope she can come out moderate because she would win my vote.
Well, and also it'll be interesting to see who she picks. I mean, essentially the VP pick is
Exactly.
not that big of a deal, but it will be if it's more of someone down the middle or someone a little bit more Republican friendly, because then people who are undecided on the Republican team will say, okay, I can handle this. I think at the end of the day, a lot more people than want to admit vote on emotion and the
Mhm.
connection they have. And I don't like what Trump came out with in the last 24 hours, which was like, "Yo, people thought I was gonna be nice because I got shot in the ear, and now I'm not gonna be nice." And they're calling her all sorts of names, and like we mentioned before, saying that she slept her way to the top. That's
Horrible,
terrible,
horrible.
and
No,
it's nasty, and I
and you
don't you
don't
know
need
what? I
to
don't
do
even
it.
like men. I've dated men who are like that, where they fight dirty. They fight personally. They call you names, they call you, crazy, ugly, old, whatever, as opposed to dealing with why they're mad at you. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I don't like those personal attacks. They make no sense. And you should just stick to the facts and you can win your case sticking to the facts. But
100%, and
yeah,
she can do the same with President Trump, just throw it back at him all, day
all
long,
day long.
right? And the chaos that was the first round of the Trump presidency. I mean, he went through the most turnover, with people in positions, whether it was militarily or working for different departments. She can go after him all day long on that record. So and so could the Republicans with her. I mean, again, like the border right there will tell you everything. I mean, I would love to see him go up there and go, tell us, what have you done for the border aside from let millions of people cross undocumented, children undocumented? I mean, it's insanity.
Okay. So I want to now read this to you because we were talking about San Francisco.
Oh, tell me.
Okay, ready?
Okay.
This I wanted to start a new little thing in our chat here of like best highlights of the week, stories that I found that I was obsessed with. Well, here was one that I found in a random tabloid, I guess. It says a pair of naked men walking in San Francisco's Castro district came to the aid of a Brazilian tourist by subduing a deranged man, menacing him with a blowtorch. Nudist Pete, I'm not going to name their name, Pete and Lloyd were out strolling in the gay friendly neighborhood when they encountered a well known troublemaker threatening to burn the tourist. One of the guys nailed the guy with a right hook and pulled him down until the police arrived. He hoped the rescue would show that nudists are a good contributing members of the community. We just have a relaxed idea of what we're supposed to wear. Do you know that people can walk around naked in San Francisco?
That doesn't shock me. That doesn't shock me. Well, they're good citizens. Does that bother you? I don't mind it. Like,
Does it bother me? Well, you know what I think is funny? So I called,
anything goes in San Francisco.
but here's the funny part. You have to wear shoes. You can walk around going to work with a briefcase and shoes naked. But you have to sit on a piece of paper or on a blanket.
Makes no sense. No sense in California.
So this is why I want to go back to Gavin Newsom. I mean, is he serious? Why is that acceptable? Why is that?
No, I mean, Gavin, look, in a way, I'm curious what Gavin really thinks. Like, if Gavin probably knew that Kamala was the first choice, but I'm sure Gavin secretly has to be seething because he wants to go against Trump so badly.
Mm.
I love Gavin Newsom's personality. He and Sean Hannity are good buddies, and I love when he's on Fox with him. Like, they just have, you know, um, Gavin is like the best used car salesman you could ever want, right? Which is a great advantage when you're a world leader because you're schmoozing and being slick with other countries. However, the problem with Gavin is he backtracks all the time, right? He does. Now you can look at that both ways. Is Gavin trying to do new things here in this state, experimenting with things and then going back? He just signed yesterday, I believe, that they're going to now it is legal that the police department, the counties can come in, remove homeless encampments, I believe almost anywhere, which had been banished a couple of years ago. So, maybe he's trying things but I don't know. Gavin's a hard one. I actually do enjoy Gavin Newsom a lot. I love the personality. He's the ultimate politician,
I
but
like
a lot of
looking at
people
him.
hate him. He's very hot, very attractive.
Yeah.
Such a good talker. But I don't know, and if Kamala wins, then we're gonna have 8 years of Democrats running the country, probably very hard for a Democrat to win again. So, gotta imagine he's not exactly thrilled, but he's gonna toe the party line.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm looking at our comments right
Yeah,
now.
Harris is a loser and a total shitbag loser.
Oh, guys, she may be not your favorite, but why is it that you guys have to be so mean? I just don't get that.
Total
She's
loser.
not a loser. I mean, you may not like
No,
her.
I mean, they might have a point. Like, let's see. No, she was a tough prosecutor on crime. I love that. But of course, she did a major flip flop, which is, look, we all change our minds. We all change our minds. She was a big defund the police person for a while. Now, we all know that didn't work. We know everyone across this country in all neighborhoods of color, neighborhoods not of color. I mean, it's insane. The defund the police was so dumb. We need to fund the police and reallocate. There need to be social workers out with them every single time. We cannot ask these men and women who are not trained in mental health to go into a schizophrenic person's apartment, home, see them on the street and know what to do and not feel that their life isn't threatened. We need to reallocate that money. Now so
Well,
she's
wait, I'm glad you brought that
see
up. Can
if
we talk
she's
about the thing that happened this week with the woman, the African
yes,
American woman with the
um,
hot pot of water and the white cops who went into her house?
yes,
Now, I've watched that video 10 times. Have you watched it?
yes, I've seen it. Yes.
So, what's upsetting to me about this is at the beginning of the video, she says, "You're not going to hurt me," or whatever. I'm paraphrasing everybody, but she's at the door for people who haven't seen it. She calls the cops. She heard somebody in the back of her house. Two white cops come. She says something to the effect that makes them say, "We're not going to hurt you. We're here because you called us." They look around, they don't see anything. They ask her name. She didn't really she started to be a little shady. So next thing you see is them inside her house asking for her ID. For whatever reason, she was being shady and she wouldn't give them her ID. Now, I don't know if she doesn't have an ID. I don't know if she's an illegal citizen. I don't know what the issue is, but she was being a little odd, right? So could have been some mental health issues. She could have been on Ambien. Who the hell knows? But she
Right.
didn't produce her ID. I think that was a little strange. So one of the cops started to look around the side and she was asking him what he's doing. She had hot water on the stove. He asked her to turn it off. She goes over there. She did say something about what was the word?
I
Something
think it
about
was something like, "I rebuke you in the name of Jesus," or something,
something like that.
right,
Now,
and she had this hot pot of water, right.
and he said something like, don't you say that," or whatever. Now, what did they think? Did they think she was gonna throw the hot water on them? Like, I'm not really sure what happened there, but something escalated and either she got very nervous about something and she was about to throw the hot water and the pot at him. He definitely did not need to shoot her in the face. He could have shot the gun in the wall and it would have scared her. I don't know what was going on there, but this is a crazy scenario. And by the way, I don't think that this is going to be an unpopular opinion. I don't think this is a black and white issue. I think this is an abuse of power issue, and it's a man and a woman issue. It could be racial, sure, but it's more like socioeconomical. Like this is a woman who doesn't have a lot of money. These are two cops coming in, making a rash decision. The whole thing was terrible, but I don't think it's because it's two white cops. I think it's like two people abusing power that don't know how to handle this woman. What do you think?
Well, this is my
Am I
point,
wrong?
right? Her family says that she was diagnosed schizophrenia. Again, paranoid
Mm,
schizophrenic.
okay, I
She's
didn't know that.
on the police video when asked, "Are you doing all right mentally?" She replies, "Yes, I took my medicine." Sonia Massey lost her life in this, and according to reports, Massey's family confirmed that she'd been diagnosed paranoid schizophrenia. Court documents filed by prosecutors said Massey appeared to be calm, possibly unwell, and non aggressive. So, look, this is my point. Like, we asked these officers to come and make an assessment of somebody who is they are not mental health workers. They do not know that this woman is having a schizophrenic. Something is probably off. Did she take her meds? She says she did. Do we know for sure at this point? I don't know. Let's say
Yeah,
she did. Um, and then it just escalates from there. It's terrible, right? It's this woman
terrible.
lost her life. She didn't need to lose her life. The
Yeah,
the problem that a lot of people have, even above the racial issue, is this officer was arrested for 2 DUIs prior. How is this man allowed to be working as an officer?
but
Isn't
this
it
is what I'm saying. I think that the abuse of power is
Mm,
the issue. I don't know that it's a white or black thing, and again, I know that's unpopular opinion, but I used to live in New York City not so long ago, and I remember driving down the street and also another time walking down the street during some sort of a parade or whatever, and I was trying to turn on my block, and I remember these traffic cops being so overly aggressive that if I argued with them, they were like, are you starting do you want to go to prison? Do you want me to take you in right now? And I'm like, whoa, what? I live there. I'm just trying to turn down the street. And the, the power dynamic was
Yeah.
terrible. And I
Mhm.
quite frankly don't remember if that cop was white or black. I just remember thinking, these guys are out of their mind. Like they're out of
Mhm.
their mind that they think that they can talk like that. Similar to stewardesses and flight attendants who get really nuts on airplanes. I do think that that's a weird thing. I think we talked about it last week. But
Well, look, I think this police department. No, I think you have a great point. And this police department seems in Illinois like they handled it very swiftly and quickly. I mean, he was fired, arrested, charged in the fatal shooting. Obviously, he'll have his day in court. Um, so, I mean, they handled it quite
are
quickly.
you afraid of the police at all?
No. But I mean, no.
So if
Are you
you get
are you?
stopped, if you get stopped or if someone comes to your house or whatever,
Judgmental.
you wouldn't be afraid.
No, I
I
wouldn't.
would. I would.
You would?
Yeah, I would.
I mean,
Yeah,
I no, I I'm trying to
because
think
it's
of the last
their word against yours. If they have a certain way to see you, you're fucked. It's not truth. It's
well,
not.
it
They're
a
not
lot
there to protect you. I have to tell you, I've been involved with the cops a couple times.
yeah,
Many years ago in a domestic violence thing with a boyfriend, the neighbors called. They don't they don't really they're not trained properly in some states,
yes, exactly, yeah.
and it's scary, and a lot of people don't go into that line of work because they believe in protecting and serving. They do it for a paycheck. They do it for, because they were bullied. I'm not sure. And also all the stuff that I've seen with it in the Karen Reed case, becoming friends with Turtle Boy and hearing all the corruption that happens. It's scary. It's scary. But people are. I don't believe that people are innately good. That's my
Oh, you
personal
don't?
opinion. No, I don't. I think that people, when no one's looking, not many people do the right thing. That's my opinion.
Really? Oh my god, I
But
feel the
I'm very jaded because of the life I've lived. You obviously have a different version.
yeah, no, I believe that 80% of people are great. I think and
You
especially
think
like
80% of people are great.
yeah,
I
yeah.
think 80% of people are crazy or not good. That's so funny
Really?
that we think, yeah, but I love you.
Oh, I love you too. Well, it is perspective, it is what you've lived through, and I'll say this about the police,
It's your personal experience. You're right. That makes you come
it
up with those
is.
values. Yeah.
I trust the police up until a point, meaning if they said to me, "Hey, could you come down to the police station? We have some questions for you in regards to your neighbor." I don't know, disappearance or something like that.
Mhm.
That to me is a sign where I would probably consult a defense attorney and say, "Do you need to come with me?" Because they're not I mean, maybe they're calling me truly just as a witness, but they're also probably calling me to see if I'm, you know, am I involved? And what can they trip me up in? So, I mean, do I trust the police? Like if I called the police, I'm trying to think of the last time I've called the police, mostly for like emergencies. I feel like somebody being hurt. Like in that case, I would not be afraid of the police. You know what I
Right.
mean? But I guess it would depend on circumstance. If they were like, "Hey, could you come down to the station? Could you, like that kind of thing, I
Listen,
would
I watch every night before I go to sleep, I'm watching the ID network or I'm watching something that has to do with police. So I know that they can, sway somebody to, say they committed a crime
sure.
if they didn't do it. So that's just my personal opinion.
Look,
I'm sure there are a lot of good ones. By the way, I was thinking about our conversation from last week. I'm going to digress for 1 second. I had to bring my dog to the vet. And the guys who were in the vet, it was a specialty veterinary clinic. It was the entire canine unit of the Palm Beach Police Department. Okay, first of all, these guys were, excuse my language, fucking hot. And the dogs were these huge German shepherds, and these
yeah,
guys were
you
just
do the
like,
hot cop.
they're like, beast, sit, or whatever the dog's name is, right? And they Zeus, sit, and the dogs would sit. And I walked in with my Siberian Husky pit bull who had just gotten double ACL surgery. And I was like, "Oh, I gotta tell Sarah I'm putting into my universe. This is the guy I should be dating. A
Yeah.
guy who loves dogs, but also is a cop, protecting someone." So I like these kind of cops, but I
I
don't
love
like
a
the
hot
cops that
detective.
are, yeah, I love that.
Look, there's a balance in the universe, and you love true crime, and I
I do.
think nobody that is doing great policing is getting any credit because that doesn't no one what's there to talk about. And we're seeing amazing policing happening all across this country thanks to Update and DNA. You and I like
Mhm.
true crime. You like it more than I do, but we are seeing cases, cold cases solved for families whose missing or loved ones were murdered 30 years ago. Those are cops that are going above and beyond, and detectives and police forces that are saying, we're going to allocate extra money, we're going to stay extra hours. Those people are never highlighted. Of course, this guy who has a history, with Sonia Massey, he should be held accountable. The Illinois Police Department there is, if in fact he shot her and he really didn't think his life was threatened. I don't know. I think the margin for police is very different, right? Because they are the ones going in. And did he feel like she could have killed him? I don't know. He's going to
Yeah.
get his day in court, right? We see the video, doesn't look good for him. But there's amazing police work that's happening. You should be with a hot detective in Florida. And there's no reason, again, we're the richest country, we're the smartest country. There's no reason that we can't have social workers out with these men and women who are putting their lives on their line. I can't remember the guest. I had a guest several years ago on my podcast. I'll find him for next week. He wrote a book about how policing in our country has become militarized.
Mm.
And instead of in the 50s and the 60s, cops were on the street with batons. They didn't have guns. Now I know we are a gun culture, so they probably need that. But the same cops would work the same neighborhood for 25 years. Now they're moved all the time from different precincts, different. And so they got to know the neighborhood. They knew the people who were troublemakers. They knew the
Yeah.
good people. They knew the moms who were single moms trying to raise kids that needed
Yeah.
extra help. They would pop in on them. And now, of course, like every fucking thing in this country, it's become so corporate that they were like slashing hours, slashing overtime. They're fighting for budget. So these men and women are moved all around. And he's like, we need to get back to, you had a neighborhood cop, you had somebody you could go to that would help out. And now when they come to like knock on your door, they drive up in a fucking tank. I mean, they're setting the tone for like, we are going to blow you away, bust in the house. And it's hard because we've set that precedent. So how do you pull it back? And you have nut jobs like that guy that tried to assassinate President Trump, who's a wacko. Unfortunately, we've got wackos all around the world.
Well,
So it's a balance. But I mean, we need these. It needs an overhaul. And I think defund the police had that idea, but then of course it went too crazy.
you brought up the assassination, and I just want to say one thing. Last night, late last night, I got a phone call from the person closest to Rudy Giuliani. I'm going to say that. Okay, I'm not going to say who it is, but and I was asking their opinion about. I asked where they were when they heard about the assassination attempt. They were in Connecticut at a restaurant, and somebody brought it up to him. And I said, "Well, what did you think about it? What's your reaction?" And they went on a whole tirade about how Iran is behind the assassination attempt. And I had to stop them because I thought it was so scary because, I personally am friendly with Rudy Giuliani because he did my show. We have a connection because of 9/11. I know he says, he believes a lot of stuff on one side. I don't necessarily agree with him. I don't agree with what's happened to him, but I I think it's crazy for people to come up with these conspiracy theories. Now I heard, people in that have a platform are saying that Iran is behind the shooting. I was like, guys, how could anyone from Iran get a hold of this dorky kid, teach him how to climb up on a roof and shoot the president? I mean, really, and then, by the way, another conspiracy I just saw on TMZ before we started. Did Donald Trump really get shot by a bullet? They don't believe that it really happened. They think it was just like a shard of glass, and that he's making it out to be something that it wasn't. I mean, I think the conspiracy theories are really,
Yeah, they're crazy.
they're crazy and terrible. And, it is what it is. We're going to keep hearing about it. But I think as we started this conversation, this political arena now is really fun. It'll be really interesting to see what happens. And two undecided girls right here. People, you should slide into our DMs, explain to us why we should vote the way we should vote. And even you're welcome to come on our shows and educate us on what is happening. That's the Sarah Fraser Show or
Yeah.
Misunderstood.
I love it. I think it's so fascinating, and I think, because
Mhm.
obviously I follow a lot of people, and now I think there's 2 things. The internet is just a place where people can shoot off their opinions, so everyone should have one. Everyone does. And then 2, I think if you're an American and you care about the future of this country, like, it's hard because there's so many layers of politics, and I do not know all of them by any means, do not
Mhm.
know the full game of politics. But I think you have to care, you have to vote, with your heart, do what's best. Sometimes voting best is not always the candidate you would love or is perfect. Um, but I think we all have to get involved, right? I mean, it is the future of our country. And I do think Americans are more involved than ever. And, hopefully we can find some common ground.
Are you registered to vote?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what's
I've voted
funny?
mostly Democrat my whole life, actually.
So I moved from New York to Florida. I'm not registered to vote yet, and I'm finding it very hard to figure out how to vote. For some reason, I keep getting, they can't find me in the system and they can't, so I'm going to have to come on in a week or so and tell you if I was able to figure it out. But I'm starting to get nervous that I'm not going to be able to vote because I can't figure out how to register. They're making it very difficult for me, and I'm a smart girl. So
Interesting.
yeah, stay tuned for that. But
Okay.
I wanted to just ask you if you were registered. Okay, let's talk about something a little bit more upbeat. Tomorrow, the Olympics kick off, and it's kind of exciting. I mean, are you excited to watch it?
I am. I'm excited for the gymnastics.
Me too.
Our girl Simone Biles, I think is gonna bring it, and the
Yeah,
I was looking at the schedule, so a lot of
me
the
too.
men's gymnastics starts Monday, Tuesday. I think Simone Biles is up what, Sunday or Tuesday?
Sunday, I think. I mean, I don't know if she is, but the women's
Yeah,
are starting on Sunday, I believe.
girl, I love.
Um, so I think I mean, the swimming too is
Really? Is there anybody in the US swimming? See, I used to be a huge Michael Phelps fan. Did you ever meet Michael Phelps?
no, I should have him on because I think he's misunderstood, with the whole
Yes.
drug issues.
Yeah. Well, and
Yeah,
mental health, he's a big mental health advocate now.
yeah,
And
exactly.
then I think, you gotta go back and watch. I can't remember what it was, but I think, Howard Stern at one point had, like, I think he was dating a transgender woman or something, so that was, like, a whole thing. I think Howard Stern had the girlfriend, like, on.
Yeah,
Anyway,
weird.
Michael Phelps is a whole thing, so I love
Okay,
Michael Phelps, and where's the Michael Phelps of today? Is there somebody out there like
there
that?
are, there are. Well, let's go through it. So we have a couple medal hopefuls, gold medal hopefuls.
Oh, alright.
So I listed these. One that's very interesting that people are keeping their eye out for. Okay, ready? Her name, they may go by they. It's a non-binary and transgender runner, Nikki Hiltz. She was assigned female at birth. Last month, she clocked the U.S.'s second fastest time ever in the 1,500-meter women's race. She will become one of the first gender non-conforming Olympians. Kind of
What?
interesting.
From the
Yeah.
US?
Yes.
Really?
Yes. I think that's interesting. I'm
Wait.
gonna watch her. I'm gonna
Wait,
watch
what
her.
category is she? She's competing in the women's?
In women's, yeah. But she's a non-binary, so she's not man or woman. Fascinating. I don't know. I'm gonna watch her. Okay, another new thing. I think we talked about this in our first episode. Breaking, better known as break dancing, it's making its Olympic debut. Um, there are 32 breakers, 16 B girls, 16 boys. They're going to compete, contorting their bodies into gravity defying shapes as they improvise to a DJ's beat. I mean, I don't know
Alright,
how
well,
that became an Olympic sport. I interviewed a great guy on the subject and he is super excited about it. I still don't know how
okay,
it's an Olympic sport, but I mean, it might be fun to watch. No?
right. Maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah,
Okay. It's the second Olympic time, whatever, for skateboarding, sports climbing, and surfing. Also, I think not many people like it. Here's an interesting fact. Surfers won't bring their boards to Paris. Instead, they will hit the waves on Tahiti in the overseas territory of French Polynesia, 10 time zones and nearly 10,000 miles away from the French capital, but they are still competing. Interesting. Interesting fact. Last interesting fact that I loved that I wanted to bring to your attention. Okay, the Seine. It's meant to host swimming and triathlon races, but pollution threatens those plans. They canceled the ceremony rehearsals last month, citing dangerous levels of fecal bacteria in the water.
Wait, what happened? Wait, but I thought like the mayor of Paris, she like got in, she swam in the Seine,
Yeah.
said it's
Oh, I
all
have
good.
yes, she said, "The water is wonderful, very cool, very nice." She probably didn't realize there was fecal matter coagulating around her head.
So now they're saying that they're just canceling that one day or
They're
they
not
think they're
canceling it yet. They have spent
um,
$1.5 billion on a cleanup effort, um, before this starts. So who knows? This just came out this week.
yeah,
I
there
I
she is.
I actually cut this out. Yeah. So we'll see what happens. I mean, I'm sure they'll figure it out before the ceremony, but or before they have to compete. But I thought that was quite interesting. Obviously, I think people are watching for basketball because they
Yeah.
want to see LeBron James. Um, Also, the number 2 ranked tennis player Coco Gauff
Oh, yeah, okay, Coco
is
Gauff,
making, yeah,
okay.
her Olympic debut.
All right, Coco.
Sprinter Sha'Carri Richardson, she
Oh,
qualified for the last Olympics before testing positive for cannabis.
I love her though. She has a good story, you know? She's another all-American dream. She's really pulled herself up. She had a tough childhood. So I hope she wins. That was really sad about the weed thing because she's like, you know, she's got a good little viral persona, but I like her actually. She's done a very good public she's done a good PR strategy on herself. She was like super out there on IG and all in everybody's face. She got the marijuana thing, then
Yeah.
was disqualified, and now she's really stepped back these past couple of years, focused on the running, made like herself like a little bit more low key. I like her strategy. I hope she wins. That would be awesome. I like how
So,
she's playing it.
yeah, the International Testing Agency says they're deploying a raft of new high-tech tools to catch dopers, including artificial intelligence models that can identify unusual results. There was some issue. Um, 23 Chinese swimmers tested positive for a banned heart medication before Tokyo's 2021 Olympics, but they were still allowed to compete. They won 3 gold medals and 11 are set to swim in Paris. I know before we started, I actually had the news on behind me and I was watching that exact same story just came out today. So I think that's a big deal. People are going to be really looking at testing this time around, making sure that everybody is cleared in the right way so that they are all on level, ground level to compete against each other.
But they're letting them compete, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, this was in 2021,
Oh,
they let
okay.
them compete. So this year, I think they're really trying to make sure. But I
Yeah.
mean, the last statement I read is that our faith in the system is at an all-time low. This was one of the swimmers, Katie Ledecky, 7-time Olympic champion. She said she felt like her faith in the system was, at an all-time low because of last time. So, she wants to be able to compete with people that are not doping because she's not, you know.
Look, I think this is make or break for the Olympics, right? In a lot of ways. Are people going to watch this summer? Do people care? Now with more, streaming options than ever, and quite frankly, to most of the time, my phone is more exciting than television. So,
Yeah.
I mean, do people care? And I think that the Olympics, if they don't get the doping out of it, I don't know. We'll see if the non-binary stuff impacts. It certainly did Bud Light. They did a turnaround. So I don't know, I mean, but I think if they don't get control of that stuff, I mean, do people really care enough for the Olympics to keep it's a huge business. So I mean, it's going to keep going for a while, but I'll be curious to see if how their ratings do. You know what I mean? It's not like I'm sure you remember the 90s when it was like the height. Whether
Right.
it was, Nancy Kerrigan and Tanya Harding and Michelle Kwan. I mean, we just had so many great Olympians then and the Olympic drama, and people really watched. It was a huge event. I'm
Yeah, I
not sure.
loved it.
Yeah, I don't know if those days are gone or not.
Yeah, I wanted to tell you, just yesterday or yeah, I interviewed one of the most interesting people that I've had on my show. A name that you won't know. Her name is Riley Tejek. She is a captain in the military, and I cannot say where she is deployed to right now, but she's not in the United States. I interviewed her at 2:30 in the afternoon. It was 9:30 at night where she was. She is deep in the military in such a way that I can't even, I'm not allowed to say. I know George, he's probably freaking out right now that I'm even talking about it. And she is a hopeful for the 2026 Winter Olympics for bobsledding. This is her on our screen. First of all, one of the most gorgeous girls I've ever seen. Military chick,
What a badass. Oh my
a
god.
badass bitch. and is going out for the bobsledding team in 2026. And she invited me at the end of the show to come to Utah when she comes back from her mission and watch her train. And she's going to suit me up in USA garb and teach me how to bobsled. How fun is that?
Oh my God, you should totally go. I admire a woman like this
Maybe
so
can
much.
you come with me? Will you go with me?
Can
How
I
fun
walk
would
with
that
you?
be?
I don't want a bobsled. I mean, I'll leave that to you. You wanna get in that rickety little thing? I mean, have you seen Cool Runnings? Like, you lean too far to the
I
right or something, we're fucking flipping over. No way.
She just crashed 4
No,
times at the World Cup.
no, they're going like
Behind me.
60 miles an hour.
Okay, but you could come,
Yes,
we could put on our USA gear,
yes.
we
I'll
could
wear
get a photo op, I'll do it, you could video it,
yes.
and then
You
if I die, you could talk all about it on your podcast. Be great.
Oh my God. Like I did with the Kylie Jenner cookie reveal. I'll do the play by
Let's talk
play, and
about
then
that.
hopefully you make it.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk about that. Now, girl, what is wrong with you that you are first of all, how many hours of your life are you allocating to standing in lines in LA these days?
You know what? Too many. But now I think I'm gonna become known as the line girl. So I think I'm gonna have to like keep it up. This
Why
started
don't you bring your merch to that to sell?
I'm gonna. I'm gonna. I've had it. Yesterday was the final straw. I mean, it's the only second line I've ever stood in that long.
Explain
But
to our listeners what you did.
all right, so it started like a month or so ago. Something about our sandwich shop made famous on Vanderpump Rules. They had a grand opening. I went and stood outside of the sandwich shop. It was the most poorly disorganized thing. I don't care. I stand by this.
Were they there?
Yes, Ariana and Katie were there, and I've never seen celebrities actually slicing the bread and putting the mayo on it, which is what they had those 2 doing. They had no PR person. It was a disaster. The long story short is I waited like 5 or 6 hours myself, and by the way, 300 other people. They closed the doors in our face at 4 o'clock. The 2 women came out and took a photo, and that was it. They never communicated to us that we would never get sandwiches, that they never handed out samples. This is like a grand opening. It was so
I don't
fucking
get it.
poorly
I
done,
don't
right?
that's terrible. So you
Okay.
never even got to the front of the line to order a sandwich?
No, they never communicate. We had to go up to the young woman who was the hostess. I was like, "What's the story? We've been waiting for 5 hours. Are we getting a sandwich or not? Just like tell us." "I don't know. Let me go find out." She goes and talks to Katie Maloney, like the star of the show. Katie's like, "Yeah, we're out of 5 sandwiches. We're closing the doors at 4. There's no free samples, so they can wait if they wanna wait. And we're gonna come out and take some photos." Like,
Do
no
you think
PR.
the
I've
place is gonna
never
close down?
Do I think it's gonna wait, do I think, like, eventually will close?
Yeah.
That's a great question. I don't know because I actually heard yesterday when I was waiting in line that they still have huge lines and Katie Maloney is like managing the shop. I think no, I
But
don't
why
think it will
wouldn't they
close
stay
down.
till late at night and make 1,000,000 sandwiches or go in at 4 in the morning that they could sell? I mean, it makes no sense.
Why were they making the sandwiches there? Like they know they're on a huge nationally known show. Everything should have been pre-boxed, pre-made. The women should have been at a step and repeat. You buy 1 sandwich per person limit.
And you
They
get
didn't
a
do that.
photo.
You get a photo, you're out. Anyway, don't get me started. So yesterday, like this
Okay.
has become a thing because I went viral for this. So yesterday, I had heard Kylie Jenner and Crumble Cookie teamed up in West Hollywood. They were doing a palette, meaning like these beautiful colored cookies in Kylie kind of colors, and they were the first 100 people were getting her blur elixir makeup, right, for your face.
Okay.
I go down there. Now, last time I was dogged because I showed up like something about her opened at 10 a.m. I showed up at 11. People were like, "You don't deserve a sandwich. You weren't there early." Okay. Yesterday it opened at 9. I showed up at 8. Enormous line.
Ugh,
300 people in line prior to me, been waiting since 5, 6 a.m.
but for a
So I
cookie?
for a cookie and an elixir that you can buy for $30. I go to myself, "Fuck, I gotta start going to these events at like 5 a.m." Wait in line.
Now,
Very well
was Kylie gonna be there?
No, and they were great. The Crumble PR rep came out very early and told everyone in line, Kylie is not appearing. We have plenty of cookies. You can wait in line. Only the first 100 people get the Blur Elixir. Here's the issue. When they opened the
Did
doors
you
at
make
9,
it to the front?
yes, I got the cookies. I got the cookies.
Were
And
they
people,
good?
yes, some of them were. People very polarized on Crumble cookies because a lot of people feel
They're
like
too
they're
much. They're
underbaked
too much.
and they're too sweet. I
Well,
didn't like, here's
who
the
eats that?
banana.
I'm looking at the video of you behind me right now. It's huge, and my daughter loves them, and she buys the 4-pack, and it's like $20, and then she takes a bite out of each one, and she leaves it there. It's terrible. I don't
That's
like
what
the
I
way
did.
that they're done.
They're genius though, billion-dollar evaluated company. So anyway, some of the cookies were actually good, and I do think that they're taking people's advice. I think they've cooked the cookies more. These were pretty cooked. There was one that was kind of raw, but I think they are cooking them more. So super well done. Shout out. I will say this, and I'm being honest. Crumble's PR people were fantastic. They communicated the entire time. The bad side of this was they actually individually, it took me 3.5 hours to get these fucking cookies. It's just because
Horrible.
don't even, I know I'm mentally ill.
So
So
what's your next one?
I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna do. It's gonna like when it pops up, when I see it, I'll go to it
Oh, okay, so there's
and I'll
not
give
one
it
that
an
you're
honest
like, "We
review.
need to go."
But
Well, I
this is
know. You and I are going to Celine.
Oh, I'll go to Celine. I'll meet you in Vegas and go to that. I would love to go to that.
Okay.
She like, this is it to see her.
Or another thing we need to do is go to the Sphere. We could do a review of the Sphere. You wanna go to the Eagles with me?
Oh, I just went to the Eagles. It was one of the greatest concerts ever.
When?
Have you
Where?
seen them? Oh
Yeah,
my god,
I
I saw
have.
them at the Keyham Forum.
Well
Unfreaking believable.
well, how would you feel about seeing them
I'll
at
go
the
again.
Sphere with me?
I'll go again. Oh my god, the greatest show I went Don Henley, I know is like a douche, but what an insane artist.
Why is he a douche?
I think it's Don's way or the highway. Did you see the Eagles documentary?
No.
I mean, Don's
Mm.
kind of a dick. Like Don,
Oh,
Don runs the show, but I mean, he's probably one of the greatest song artists of all time. Not
okay.
to mention, he's incredible. He can play amazing instruments. Joe Walsh, unbelievable on the guitar. These guys are in
Yeah.
their 70s. Now,
So
Joe can't really
Joe I've had Joe's daughter on my show, Lucy Walsh. She can get us amazing tickets, she said.
Lucy, your dad is unbelievable. Now,
Mhm.
he doesn't like speak very well. No offense, Luce, but he really, but he's a great guitarist. So maybe she'll uninvite me. But he's unbelievable. Those guys, plus they're genius. Then they brought in Vince Gill, the incredible country artist. Vince Gill
Yeah.
plays backup, sings backup, and then who's the guy? He died, and his son now is the drummer. Unbelievable.
Frank
I'll go see the
Sinatra.
Eagles again. Oh my god, they were unbelievable. One
Alright,
of
so
these
we're
nights,
gonna do a review of one or the other, or maybe both.
I would go see them in a heartbeat.
Um, okay, before we wrap up, I do wanna talk about something I brought up to you a little bit earlier, off camera, is that a friend of mine well, I guess this is out there. You guys will have to write us and tell us, but this is the first time it was brought up to me. My friend, AJ Benza, who is gonna be on my show next week.
Who I love, by the way. What a 90s, oh my god, I would do he lives here in LA, you have to introduce us. What
Oh, I
a
will.
legendary gossip columnist.
We're gonna bring him to Celine, actually.
One of my favorite people on Howard Stern. I think he
Yeah,
punched,
he did.
Stuttering John or whatever. It was so good. Those were the best Howard days. I loved AJ Benza.
He
Oh,
has the best stories. He was good friends with Tupac, with Mickey Rourke, with, he just is like the epitome of gossip. He is the OG. Okay, anyways,
OG.
he forwarded me an excerpt from Kim Porter's memoir. Kim Porter, for those of you that don't know who that is, it's the woman who was married to Puff Daddy, Sean Diddy Combs, for a while, I guess, whatever, died of pneumonia. There are all sorts of rumors out now based on her memoir that was unpublished because she died of pneumonia, where she goes into great detail and she was writing a book about how she told Puffy it was over. She was going to expose him, that she had walked in on him having sex with, again, unpopular opinion that I'm going to say this, but I'm just regurgitating information that, was from her book. She was a witness to him to excuse me, not him, to um who's the guy who Snoop Dogg coming out of the bedroom undressed. Then the door was open to the bedroom. It was a threesome because Puffy was in bed snuggling with Will Smith. That also she had been around for Justin Bieber and some other names that I won't even go into because it was like almost sounded too far fetched. But um, and then
This is alleged, by the way, alleged. We gotta
this is alleged based on what she was going to write in her book. I mean, these pages are written. I read the pages. I read what she
dude,
had wrote. Oh
okay.
yeah, yeah.
Wait, and AJ Benza, I mean, he is a credible source, but I'm just gonna say this because, I mean, Diddy really doesn't have anything to stand on. But like this is coming from a legitimate person. AJ says these are the actual script pages.
Yes, he forwarded them to me.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah. So AJ is I'm gonna have AJ on next week, get to the bottom of it. And then because I'm just regurgitating information that I heard, right? So when he breaks it down for me, I will break it down for you guys. So, I think I still don't understand why Puffy has not been arrested. I think they're working on a bigger case. I think that there's a lot more people involved. I think that but I don't, there's nothing wrong. It's not illegal to be gay. It's not illegal to have gay sex. It's illegal if you're using it to hide things and
Well,
extort
traffic,
people.
supposedly he was trafficking women, like
Right.
forcing these women to go across state lines, have sex with other rappers, come to his party, beat him off, whatever the fuck he was doing.
Yeah.
I just am so glad. Don't you thank God? I'm so glad I was never put in his realm. He went to Howard University. He was always in DC. And
He
people
was
different
always at my parties, and I was in charge of the celebrities, and he was the one celebrity that I did not know. He went through the owners of Tao,
I
not
love
me. All men, by the way. I know every other celebrity. I've had some sort of interaction, everyone from Ti to whoever. He was the one that I did not know, and I always was like, "Oh, I should be invited to these white parties. I'm the one that they have to go through to come to my club." And I just never interacted with him, thank God. I mean, it's just and also she writes about when she was pregnant, she was made to have sex with multiple people.
I believe her. I
Yeah.
believe her. I mean,
I
he's
believe her too.
saying,
And
yeah,
and it is basically alleged from what she writes in her book that someone in her life, died from pneumonia and she believed that Puffy created that. She died from pneumonia. So, I'm gonna get more into that with AJ. I just had Spencer Pratt on who was talking about how
you have
remember
great guests. I love your guests.
his wife had all that she had, like, 10 different plastic surgery things done at once.
Yeah,
Her
Heidi. Yeah?
Heidi, yeah, but so her doctor, I think his name was Doctor Frank Ryan, was in a bizarre car crash, and there's a new conspiracy theory out, rumor that it wasn't a car crash, that it was Puffy that killed him because that is the doctor that also did Cassie's boobs, and when Cassie came to, Puffy said, "You better take those out," and he said, I could kill her. I can't take them out this quickly," and he forced him to take them out, and next thing you know, he was dead. So, I don't know. I'm just the conduit of the information.
No, look, I think that so many people know how sick he is. It's coming out. And yeah, and look, the feds are still investigating. I've seen some lawyers. There's a guy I follow, Joy of Everything on TikTok. I love him. He's a paparazzi
Mm,
member that just live streams, and he live
okay.
streams outside of Craig's. And he
Oh,
actually
fun.
caught up with one of 50 Cent's attorneys who I had some lawsuit or issue. And basically, he broke it down for why the feds are taking so long. And he's like, look, once you're in the feds crosshair, like you are not getting out of that without some charge when you are like rated like that. This isn't an inquiry. This
Yeah,
is like a very orchestrated. So he's like, believe me, they are methodically planning. There,
figuring it out.
there is something very big coming down the line.
Okay, well, guys, we've kept you on here long enough. We're so honored that you've joined us
Yes.
this long. Thank you. If you guys have any suggestions of topics you would like to hear us discuss, please slide into our DMs during this week. We are live every Thursday, 12:45 on Rumble, and then we air it subsequently in the next 24 to 48 hours. Later on our podcast, mine is Misunderstood with Rachel Yucatel. Sarah's is The Sarah Fraser Show. You can find these podcasts anywhere you get your podcast, Apple, Spotify. Anything else you want to promote, Sarah?
No, that's it. No. You and I both had Mary Brown from Sister Wives
Oh, I
on.
needed to ask you. How? What? How? What happened?
She was amazing. So you just had her on like a month ago. Mary Brown came on with her best friend Jen Sullivan. Jen actually started recently appearing on Sister Wives and will be on season 19. So if you are a Sister Wives fan, she gives out even more information. She was obviously on Misunderstood. It was so good. She got into the whole plural lifestyle. And then she answers a lot of the gossip that has been out there on my show and talks about where she stands with Cody and Robin, where she stands with Leon, her
Was she
child.
forthcoming? She's somewhat guarded.
Yeah, I mean, I thought she was very forthcoming. I mean, I will say I think all these individuals are very media trained. You
Yeah.
know, they know how to deflect or not answer a question. And I think you get this too. I'm very close with some of the people at the network. So occasionally you get some network notes like, hey, can you not ask this? Could you ask that? So but I thought she was very forthcoming in what she disclosed. And she basically says that everything she says about Cody and Robin, she gets in trouble for. So it makes it very hard for her to know what to say. And that sucks when you have somebody that's up your ass. And also now, they're trying to keep this franchise going. It's how they all make money. That's a lot of pressure on people. But she was great. She went into more about how being a businesswoman and no, I loved it. I loved it. And you did an amazing job on yours. So when we talked about your interview, actually,
Oh,
she
you
said
did?
about, yeah, I think she really liked, I can't remember. I'll find out for next week, but she liked something you asked and she kind of went into, I think it was about dating.
Oh, nice. Okay. All right. Well, she spoke positively about me.
Yes, she loves you. She said
Okay.
she loves you, loves the podcast. And she was like, when I was on Rachel Yucatel's show, I was talking about dating. I was talking about this. So yeah,
Oh,
no,
good.
she's
I'm going to
great.
listen to yours. I saw your clips and I thought they were fantastic. So I'm excited. All
Thank
right,
you.
guys, listen, we would love for you to join us if you're listening on one of our audio or video, and you're not listening live. Please join us next Thursday at 12:45 because, what's fun about it is we will answer questions. We do have a live chat. And and also slide into our DMs during the week if you want us to cover some specific topics. But next week might be fun if we want to interact a little more with the audience. So please, we will be putting a link on our Instagram feeds and our stories so you can figure out how to join our live feed. But we love the feedback. Please give us a review and let us know what your thoughts are. But we love you so much. Thank you for coming every week. And Sarah, I love you. I'll
Love you too, Rachel. It was so fun. It's always so fun with you. Enjoy you so much.
Okay, love you. Mwah.
See you soon. Bye, gorgeous.
George, we're looking at your face.
Yeah, no, I was trying to do the ad read. I was just testing it out here.
Oh.
Accept and start.
Are we still live, George?
Yeah, we're still live, but the people.
Okay, well.
People want
all
behind
right.
the scenes.
All right, I was gonna read an ad. To test out Rumble Studio. Shout out to Rumble for providing that. But see you next week.
Bye, and George. I gotta text you. Oh wait, you're still there.
Thank you so much for listening to Misunderstood. I'm your host, Rachel Yucatel. Please be sure to subscribe to the show and give us a 5-star rating and review. You can support the show by joining our Patreon at patreon.com/misunderstood with Rachel Yucatel. Do you have ideas for the show or want to reach out? Email us at info misunderstoodpodcast@gmail.com. That's spelled MISS understood. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next time.